بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبو القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين. Inshallah, let's all recite the dua of Imam Zaman together, inshallah. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعوا فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. Now, inshallah, today I'm going to do something new in this speech. So, inshallah, I'm going to ask you to give me feedback afterwards. Not at the beginning, but at the end of the speech, I'm going to recite a poem. And I want to see if this poem in English works or not. So for the Musibah part, I'm going to give a poem. It's going to be something you probably haven't heard before, a poem in English. But because in Eastern cultures, I don't know about Urdu actually, but in Arabic and Farsi, when they do the Musibah part of the speech, it's always poetry. And it's very beautiful. So I was thinking in English, we could try it, see if it works or not, inshallah. So if you don't like it, let me know, and then I won't do it again. I'll go back to the normal way, inshallah. But what I want to speak tonight about is ziyarat. I want to look at ziyarat and get it. Okay, now first I want to mention a tradition. It's narrated to us by Abu Zar al-Ghafari, which all of you have heard. And he's narrated from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, the similitude or the likeness of my progeny, the Arbaeen, among you is that ark of Noah. Whoever gets in it is saved, and whoever lags behind will be destroyed. We have from our Prophet, where a Prophet is ordering us to do what? To follow the Ahlul Bayt. If you follow the Ahlul Bayt, you're saved. If you turn away from them and you don't follow them, you're destroyed. Now, are all the Imams the same in this? Is following each single Imam, will it get us to the destination at the same speed? Or is it important to concentrate on one Imam over another? Now this is a question that's posed. The answer, you could argue with both cases. But what I want to do is I want to show you another hadith. And this hadith might help us to understand it. This hadith is by Imam Ja'far Sadiq alayhi salam. And Imam Sadiq was asked about a very famous tradition. We have a very, very famous tradition which says, verily Hussein alayhi salam is the lamp of guidance and the ark of salvation. Right? This is a very famous tradition. Imam Sadiq was asked about this. He said, what does that mean? So when he replied, the Imam said, it means that every one of us, if you follow each one of us, and each one of us means the Imams, whatever Imam you follow, you'll reach salvation. It's as if you've embarked upon the ark of salvation. But the ark of Hussein is bigger and faster. So even Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is saying here that yes, if you follow any one of the Imams, you'll get to your destination. You'll get to paradise. You'll be saved. You'll reach salvation. But if you jump in the ark of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, you'll get there faster. Why? Because through the struggles and the conditions of the time that he lived in, the actions that he performed were more in our face. We could learn from them. It's clearer for us. So if we follow in his footsteps, we'll get to the destination quicker. We'll reach the goal quicker. Some of our ulama have said because this might be new. So let's see what big ulama have said, if they've said similar things or not. First we'll go to see what a very famous scholar by the name of Sayyid Qazi Tabatabai. Sayyid Qazi Tabatabai was one of the biggest arifs that we've had. Mystic. He was, very spiritual. He was the teacher of Allama Tabatabai. And Allama Tabatabai, the person who wrote Tafsir al-Mizan, again, a very famous scholar that we have, this was his teacher, someone that was above him. So what he says is this, I quote him. He said, it's impossible for a human being to reach the station of Tawheed without Sayyid al-Shuhud. Impossible. Now, when you look at that, when you think about that gives, that's very deep. There's some profound meaning in this statement. I don't know if when you think about it, if you could take it out. What it means is this, when we discuss theology, when we're looking at aqaid, we always start from Tawheed first, right? We always try to prove the existence of God before anything else. Because without Allah, without proving that Allah exists, we can't prove prophethood or imamat or anything else. But what he's saying here is the opposite. It seems as if it's the opposite. Because he's saying without Sayyid al-Shuhada, you can't get Tawheed. So it looks like it's the opposite way. So how does that work? First, we establish the existence of Allah. Then we move from there to establish the necessity of prophethoods. Then we prove the prophethood of the prophets and the imamat of the imams. Now, once we've understood this, once we've internalized this, then we move backwards from them back to Allah. Now, why would we do that? There's two types of knowledge that we can have. One is a knowledge that's acquired, right? A knowledge that we get through learning. So when we think, we read books, we ponder upon questions of theology, we discuss the arguments of the existence of Allah, we're obtaining knowledge from outside of our being, right? Now this knowledge that we obtain is limited. What is it limited to? It's limited to our intellects, to the capacity of our understanding. Right? We're human beings. Our intellects aren't perfect. So there's limits here. So this knowledge that we've gained about Allah is limited. Now, when we internalize that knowledge, and we use that knowledge, inshaAllah, to get closer to Allah, then this knowledge becomes not knowledge that's obtained, but knowledge of presence. There's two types of knowledge. Ilm husuli, which is knowledge which you obtain, and ilm huzuri, which is knowledge that's within you. Now let me give you another example about knowledge that's within you. Knowledge by presence. Every one of us knows that we exist. I know that I am here. Right? I know that I'm sitting in this chair right now. Nobody has to teach me that. I don't have to read a book to find that out. There's nothing that I have to do to learn this. This is something that's known by me, right? I know it. And this knowledge is so much stronger than knowledge I would get through reading, right? It's a knowledge that cannot be broken, cannot be argued against. Each one of us, each human being, believes in Allah through knowledge by presence. So even atheists who reject the existence of Allah, in their fitra, in this knowledge by presence, they accept the existence of Him. They believe that He exists, but they reject it outwardly. Now that means, if through this knowledge that we get through obtaining knowledge, I want to go back, this might be getting a little too complicated. But through this knowledge that we get through obtaining knowledge, right? This knowledge about Allah, this knowledge is, if it's knowledge only of itself, if we're not coupling it with spiritual purification, the knowledge won't take us anywhere. Purify ourselves, and we try to use this knowledge to get closer to Allah, then we're going to tap into our knowledge by presence about Allah, which will get us closer to Him. And it will be unlimited instead of limited. Right? So that's how this statement works. It's a very complicated statement when you try to look into it, where it's saying we can't understand Allah without Sayyid Shubha. But that's not saying that first with the intellect we prove Allah, we get to the Imams, and then we come back. That's the route we have to take. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. Now let's listen to what another scholar said. This time we're going to quote his student, who is the teacher of us all, Allama Tabatabai. He has said that the Imam has given great attention towards the wayfarers, the salik, and removing the veil and impediments of the path of God. So here Imam Hussein alayhi salam gives a lot of attention towards spiritual wayfaring. Now when I was in Iran, before I came, even a few years ago, the first time I wanted to go in and give a speech, I was very nervous. And I thought that when I would give this speech, I would fumble my words, I wouldn't be able to say the sentence correctly, it's going to be terrible, right? Because you don't learn how to give speeches in the house, knowledge in the house, and you don't learn how to deliver. So I was very nervous, very scared, and I asked one of my teachers, who is a very strong teacher in akhlaq, in irfan. I asked him, of strength to be able to deliver this lecture. What he said is, whenever we do tawassul to Imam Hussein, he gives us strength to move forward in any act of spirituality. Inshallah, with the right intention, delivering lectures is act of worship. So in order to excel in this act of worship, you have to do tawassul to Imam Hussein. This is what Allama Tabatabai is saying. There's a special attention that's given by Imam Hussein to those who want to travel along this path to spirituality. We have to use him, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. Now, one of the methods that we can connect with Imam Hussein, one of the methods that we can use this tool that Allah has given us, the Imams, that Allah has given us to move closer towards Allah, is through ziyarat. We do ziyarat, inshallah, we do ziyarat as a form of tawassul, of getting closer to the Imam. Right? We're sending peace to the Imam, Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. Inshallah, through that we get closer to him. Now, the important thing here is that the zair, the person who is performing ziyarat, he should know what he's saying. Right? It's not that we just utter words and we have no idea what we're talking about. We should know the meanings behind what we're saying. And not only that, we should try to know the deeper meanings behind these words. We should look into the tafsir of these different ziyarats, which are available in all languages, even English, and try to get the inner meaning of these ziyarats, so when we recite them, we can get even closer to them. Also, we should be trying to unify ourselves with the ma'zur, with the person who we're doing ziyarat to. So when someone does ziyarat, number one, he should be paying attention to what he's saying, and number two, he should be trying to unify himself and his actions with the person who he's performing ziyarat to. These are two very important points. Now when, for instance, we're asking Allah to raise the status of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we're asking Allah to shower blessings upon Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we're asking Allah to send salutations upon Imam Hussein alayhi salam. When we're asking this, what are we asking? What we're doing is we're trying to conform, we're trying to unify ourselves. Right? When we talk about unity, we're unifying ourselves. We're trying to unify ourselves with all of the good qualities of Imam Hussein. When we're sending curses upon those who attacked Imam Hussein, when we curse those who killed Imam Hussein, when we curse those who heard about it and became happy, when we send all of these curses, what we're doing is we're trying to remove ourselves away from their negative qualities. We're turning our backs towards them. We're telling Allah we're not like them. These are bad people, these are cursed people, I'm not like that. I want to be far away from them. Their qualities that they have, I don't want in my life. I'm not this type of person who would do that. Right? This is what we're saying when we're cursing. We're saying these people are terrible, bad people, I'm not like them. Right? So we're unifying ourselves with the Imam. Through these ziyarats, we're trying to, number one, we're trying to say that all the positive qualities of the Imam, all of the things that we mentioned in ziyarat and all the things we don't. All of these I want to incorporate in my life. And when I'm cursing those who fought against the Imam, who killed the Imam, who did all these terrible things, I'm saying I don't want to be like them. I want to turn away from them. These are examples of what not to be. Right? Salawatu ala Muhammad wa ala. Another thing when we do ziyarat is that we're promised that we will be given an answer, Allah will accept everything that we ask for. So whatever we ask for when we do a true ziyarat will be given to us. Anything. And I've seen amazing things happen. Miracles have happened when people do ziyarat correctly. I'm sure all of you have heard about it. Now, what this means is it's very special. This ziyarat as well, it's not only necessarily going to Karbala to do ziyarat. You could do ziyarat from your own home, from the masjid. The Imam is everywhere. You could face him and do a ziyarat from wherever you are. It's better to go to Karbala, but you can do it from here as well. Now, what it means, when everything we ask for will be given to us, if we do it sincerely, we should be careful what we ask for. We should think about what we want. Because a lot of times what we ask for are things that aren't of great importance. We ask for material things, right? We're not concentrating on our larger needs, our spiritual needs. Let me quote from one of the Urufa of our time, right? He passed away, the late Ayatollah Haddad Musawi. And he was describing people who do ziyarat, right? He said when most people visit the shrines, when most people go and visit the shrines, they stand holding on to the graves and ask the Imam to mediate on their behalf, which is what all of us do. Inshallah, we get the opportunity to do it again. We grab the zari of the Imam and kiss the shrine. All of us, inshallah, we get this opportunity. So when people go to do ziyarat, they do this. And why do they want the Imam to mediate on their behalf? Why? So that their material needs are fulfilled. They do not ask the Imam to remove their burden, which is attachment to the world. They don't ask the Imam to do that. Rather, they ask the Imam for a house, for offspring, for a wife, for a car. They ask him for some material thing. They don't concentrate on the more important things. Detachment from the world is one of the most important things we have. We could long for. Now, detachment from the world doesn't mean not to own anything. It means not to be attached. So one can have a house, a car, a wife, children, live a life of comfort, but not be attached to it as well. Right? So when we're talking about zud in Islam, we're talking about not being attached to what we have. If Allah takes it away from us, it doesn't destroy us. Right? We live comfortably, we use the money that we have, but we don't become attached to it. That's what's important. There's a hadith we have from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, where he says that everything good in the world is placed in a house. And the key to this house is detachment from the world. So if we want to be able to reach righteousness, if we want to be able to reach everything that we should, everything that's good, we need to detach ourselves from the world and not be attached to our material belongings. This is something we have to work on. And inshallah, when we do ziyarat, we can ask the Imam for this. We can ask the Imam to ask Allah to give us this quality so that we can excel in spirituality and get closer and closer to Allah, inshallah. This is something we should be looking for. Now, I want to go, inshallah, and touch upon the essence of ziyarats. Right? Let me start by quoting a hadith. We have a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He says, whoever visits the grave of Al-Hussein alayhi salam while he seeks Allah, this while he seeks Allah is important. Whoever visits the grave of Al-Hussein alayhi salam while he seeks Allah, Jibreel, Mikael, and Israfil will accompany him until he returns. This is a narration of it. So if we do ziyarat correctly, the angels will accompany us on our way home. This is something we should, this is something great. We all want angels to be with us to protect us. If we do a ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam correctly, they will. Now let's look at what ziyarat means. This term ziyarat, what does it literally mean? In Arabic, it stems from the word zor, right? And this word means to draw away from something, to deflect away from something, to turn away. This is what the word ziyarat stems from. Now, why does it mean when we visit someone? When you do ziyarat of someone, how does that mean we're turning away? What it means is you turn away from everything except the person you're visiting, right? You turn away from everything else. When we're doing ziyarat of the graves of the awliya, it means we're turning away from everything but them. We're turning our backs to the material world and we're facing the spiritual realm. This is what we're concentrating on. This is why it's ziyarat. It also is sometimes translated as unifying the visitor with the visited, of coloring the visitor with the attributes of the visited. These are other ways that it's defined. Now, when we go on ziyarat, I'm sure most of us have been out of this country and we've been to ziyarat. What happens is we're living in the West. So we're living in this material world. The culture of the West, which I've grown up in, you've grown up in, we know it's difficult to be religious. There's all of this sin is all around us. This culture of trying to get and consume is around us. It's hard to concentrate solely upon Allah. But when we go to ziyarat, it's as if we're turning away from this. And for a week or a month or however 2 weeks, however long we're in Syria or Iraq or Saudi Arabia or Iran, wherever we are, we change. We attach ourselves to this level of spirituality which we don't have. And I could see this when I've been in Iran. There's been many, ziyarat trips who go there. For instance, a couple of the brothers here, they went on an Al-Asr trip, where in this trip, a number of youth come from the UK and other countries, and they visit Iran. And I've helped in this camp a few times. And you see these people, the first time when they come in the airport, off the airplane, they're playing around, they're joking, right? But then the first time you take them to the shrine of Imam Rizal, you should see their faces. When they walk off that bus and their eyes touch the dome, the golden dome, they cry. They cry. And they're moved, they change. Just that 1 second changes them. They go in, and then when they come back to the UK, they're different people. They've been illuminated. They're different. But they have to try to work on keeping that. Because the longer they stay in the West, it starts to go away again. And then you have to go back to do ziyarat to again get full of this illumination and this spirituality. This is something, this is what we do ziyarat for. Is to detach ourselves from the world and attach ourselves to the spiritual realm, inshallah. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. Now let's take it a step further. When one is visiting the Imam, it's as if he's visiting Allah. When one visits the Imam, it's as if he is visiting Allah. Now, if there's some Sunni brothers or sisters here, they'll think I'm saying something that's shirk here. How can you say that? No. I don't mean the Imam is Allah. A'udhu billah. But let's clear it up with some traditions. One tradition from the Messenger of Allah, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, he's talking about the rewards, or sorry, this is from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, talking about the rewards of visiting the grave of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He was asked, what rewards does someone get? He said, it's as if he visited Allah on the throne. Then another tradition from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, whoever visits the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam with knowledge of his status, again that's important, it's as if he's visited Allah on the throne. It's as if we're visiting Allah. And what did we say ziyarat means? Ziyarat means unifying ourselves with the person who we're visiting. It means trying to color ourselves with the attributes of the person who we're visiting. So when we do ziyarat to the Imam, we're trying to obtain these divine characteristics that he has. When we talk about sincerity, when we talk about generosity, when we talk about mercy, when we talk about bravery, when we talk about tawakkul, whatever good, positive quality we're talking about, the Imam has the best form of it. So when we're going to ziyarat, we're trying to obtain these qualities. We're trying to use this ziyarat, this detaching ourselves from everything but him, in order to obtain these things from him. There's a purpose. We're not doing ziyarat only to gain some, material benefit. We don't go to, we don't pay for a ticket on the airplane and go all the way across the world in order to ask the Imam to give us a wife, or to give us more money, to give us a job, to let us get accepted to university, whatever it is. No, it's much bigger than that. It's much bigger than that. Although we're supposed to ask for these things as well, but we should concentrate on that which is more important. That we're taking on these divine attributes. This is what it means. This is what's more important. Now when we do ziyarat, we'll become illuminated. Allah will give us nur. And as I said, this ziyarat, it's not necessarily going to Karbala. You could do ziyarat from your house, from the masjid, from wherever you are, your place of work. You could do ziyarat from anywhere. You get more rewards when you're in Karbala. But you could do ziyarat anywhere. So when we do a sincere ziyarat, with a sincere intention, the intention of trying to get closer to Allah through this ziyarat, the intention of trying to obtain these divine qualities from the Imam, when we have this sincere intention and perform the ziyarat, then what will happen? Then Allah will put nur inside our existence. We'll become illuminated with these qualities. And through this light, through this nur which we have, we'll be able to give it to others as well. This nur will spread from us to others. Let me recite a verse of Quran which was mentioned about this point here. The verse of Quran in English, it says this: Is he who was lifeless, then we granted him life, and granted him a light by which he walks among the people. So the person was lifeless. He was dead. Before he did ziyarat, it is as if he was dead. Then we granted him life. How? Through ziyarat. And we granted him light, nur, with which he walked among the people with. Is such a person like one who dwells in manifold darkness, which he cannot escape? Which one is better? One who does a sincere ziyarat, just one, sincere. This person will become illuminated. You'll see this in his face. He'll be a changed person. The way you saw him yesterday and today is different. Yesterday he was dead, today he's alive. You'll be able to notice that. This is when we realize, salawat ala Muhammad wa this is when we'd realize that we've done a correct ziyarat, when we see this change inside ourselves. This is what we should be looking for. Now, before I start the next part of the speech, I just wanted to mention one hadith about the merits, the rewards of performing a ziyarat to Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Just one hadith. And also, because when I started this speech, many people weren't here. So now, alhamdulillah, more people have come. I mentioned a point at the beginning that this speech is going to be a little different. In this speech, in the Masa'ib part, I'm going to recite a poem. And I want you to listen to this poem, and I want feedback from it. Because this is something that's new in the English language, and we have to try to improve the way that Masa'ib is done in English. If we want to reach the hearts of the entire UK, we have to be able to do powerful Masa'ib in both our language and English as well. So inshallah, when I start that, you can give me the feedback, inshallah. But let me recite this hadith. It's been narrated from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. That whoever performs his ziyarat, the ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, whoever performs his ziyarat at least once in a month, so not every day, just one time a month, will receive the reward of 100,000 martyrs. Once a month, we turn sincerely and we do a ziyarat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, we'll get the rewards of 100,000 martyrs. And not just any martyrs. Martyrs whose likeness are of the martyrs of Badr, the ones who gave their lives with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is when we do a correct ziyarat with correct intentions. This is what happens to us. We'll get all of these rewards, inshallah. So inshallah, may Allah grant us all the ability to be able to perform this ziyarat. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن الثار ووتر الموتور. Where is this place so desolate, and how'd you end up here? The Prophet's own, so far from home, with blood stains in your beard. I looked for Ali Akbar's face, but what I found instead was he who had the Prophet's smile among the sea of dead. I looked for Ali Akbar's face, but what I found instead was he who had the Prophet's smile among the sea of dead. What happened to that smiling youth whose face we long to see? How did these people come to kill the branches of God's tree? Your women have no guardians now, their sons and fathers gone. Their tents in flame, their necks in chains, the torture still goes on. Your sister is so hard to talk to, all she does is cry. She holds her arms up, cursing them and speaking to the sky. And children lay all at your feet, dismembered and at peace. A 12-year-old whose body's cold, Muhammad, can this be? And children lay all at your feet, dismembered and at peace. A 12-year-old whose body's cold, Muhammad, can this be? Will no one tell me how this happened to Hussein and his kin? Will no one tell me how this happened to Hussein and his kin? Why are the Prophet's children thirsty? What have you done to them? If only you'd destroy the Kaaba and let this family live, there might be hope for you that God would pardon and forgive. Sakina was a little child, but knew from what she heard the place her dad was going to would not let him return. She noticed women screaming, weeping much more than before. She saw her auntie Zainab falling sick upon the floor. Her heart was pounding hard as she would ponder on his death. She thought of nights without his warmth, without his voice and breath. And when at last Hussein had sat, prepared to ride away, he noticed clinging to his horse's legs, Sakina lay. Oh, father, would you really leave your baby girl like this? Would you leave your poor Sakina here without a hug or kiss? Hold me, father, hold me like you've done on every night. Upon your chest for one last time, and father, hold me tight. And so he did, and for a while they wept, but they could hear the jeering of the enemy, the sacrifice was near. O daughters of the world, the pain within Sakina's heart would make the mountains crumble and the ocean split apart. Hussein, I never understood the things the prophet said, until the day I saw the blood that you for justice shed. I never understood why he would kiss your throat and neck, until I saw a shimmer stand on it devoid of all respect. I never knew why you and Hassan were the lords of heaven's youth, until I saw your sacrifice the whole world for truth. You left your dear Sakina, and we know how hard she cried. Those nights awake, her heart would break in the prison where she died. And if the dead can't speak, Hussein, then how upon a spear did you tell the crowd in a voice so loud the truth so all could hear? If the dead can't get revenge, Hussein, then how can it be that dynasties have fallen when the people learned of you? You left so many orphans, and the widows weep in grief, for yesterday they gazed upon the martyr's greatest grief. Inshallah, Allah will allow all of us to benefit from the ziyarat of Imam Hussein, and Allah will allow all of us to mourn Imam Hussein. Inshallah, we'll have a very informative speech by Sayyid Ijtaba Qazmi, and inshallah we can all listen and benefit from that. Salawat ala Muhammad wa